follow Christ. Don't lead yourself, your family, down this idea that everyone else needs to provide for me. You have responsibility. You have agency. God has given you a unique role. You are made in the image of God to be a creative person, to engage in the creative process, to serve humanity. And through serving humanity, you have your needs met, and you have more than enough to help also meet the needs of others. That's not communism. That's Christianity. Welcome to Life in the Markets. My name is Tim Russell, and today is Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. Happy New Year. I can hardly believe that we are already here halfway through the 20s. I think the decade just started. Can you believe it? Today's a special episode with Life in the Markets. I'm not going to do the normal market recap. There are just a couple thoughts that I want to share with you about this very newsworthy start to the new year. Obviously, we have had a lot of things going on, many of which are noteworthy and worth some consideration from a Christian perspective as we think about the markets and the year and what we are facing here as a nation in America as we're moving into 2026. As you know, last year, Zohar Mamdani was elected mayor of New York, and on January 1st, he was installed as mayor. He swore over the Quran. He is the first Muslim mayor of New York City. He is also the first socialist mayor of New York, and it is absolutely terrifying, some of the things that we are seeing and hearing coming out of that administration. And I think it bears some further discussion perhaps later in today's video. But then right on the heels of that, right, just Saturday morning, we wake up to the news that the U.S. has conducted a successful raid into Venezuela and have deposed and arrested Maduro and his wife, the president of Venezuela, an avowed communist, one who used his power and influence to pillage a nation rich with natural resources and a beautiful heritage and bring them down to one of the poorest, most impoverished nations in South America and what is arguably an absolutely failed state. If you look at inflation, if you look at all of the economic measures of success, communism in Venezuela has been an absolute disaster for that nation. Now, we're not going to get into all of the politics. Was Trump right to do what he did? Primarily because I don't know. I'm also willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not terribly upset that he did what he did, but obviously we're still waiting to see what is the evidence that they have for Mamdani, not Mamdani, please forgive me, that was Freudian. I meant Maduro and all of the things that he did. I would certainly love to see what they have on him. I think that might be very insightful. I also don't want to just simply disparage it because clearly the nation of Venezuela is pretty tickled pink that Maduro is gone. They may not love the idea that U.S. came in and had to get him, but oh my goodness, they are so grateful to have that dictator, that evil man with all of his evil ideologies and all of his corrupt infrastructure now starting to crumble. It is good. It is good for the nation when the righteous flourish and the wicked are punished. And this is absolutely true for Venezuela. I rejoice for the nation of Venezuela that they can actually now have an opportunity to install a government that is based on wise principles, just governance, and moral leadership. This cannot be done apart from a Judeo-Christian worldview. So I would strongly urge the nation of Venezuela and all of those who have influence within it to encourage people to come back to Christ, to consider the commands, the opportunities, the challenges that we see in the Word of God to live and to govern people wisely and justly. This will bring true and lasting prosperity to the nation of Venezuela and through them, through the entire region and possibly even to the world. It's a really monumental turning point. What we have seen in Venezuela is the fruit, the harvesting, the reaping of a very negative fruit, the fruit of communism and all of its evil ideology based in atheism, based in a flawed view of man, a flawed view of God, and a flawed view of reality. And as you know, when you live a life that is flawed in every aspect of its foundation, you will not live a life that produces virtue, justice, or anything worth celebrating and enjoying. You'll create a society of wicked despots who simply seek to promote their own good, their own happiness, and their own flourishing. They talk about collectivism. They talk about how they want to help the poor, but the reality is that they help themselves at the expense of the poor. No one becomes prosperous except for the ruling class. Everyone becomes worse off. Injustice, wickedness reign. Hope is destroyed. Why do we bring up Maduro? Why do we talk about Venezuela? This is life in the markets. What's the point of that? Well, I think it's important for us to think about that because of what happened with Mondami in New York. He is a avowed communist, socialist, communist, whatever combination of the two you want to say, they're all the same thing. These guys, this guy in particular, and the people that he's putting in power have some incredibly flawed, dangerous ideas that will destroy the quality of life in the great city of New York, the apple of America. Right? This is not a cool thing. But now we get to sit back and we get to watch all of these failed ideas be put into practice, and let's see what happens. We have already seen their promise of free transportation. That promise is broken. They just increased the cost of transportation in the state. We're seeing substantially frightening, I would say horrific ideas about private property coming out of the person they put in charge of property rights in the state. She is saying your relationship with property will change. Collectivism is the way we need to go. Ownership of property is really, it's immoral for anyone to own property. It's the people's asset. Therefore, the property needs to be properly redistributed to the people. In New York City, there are 50,000 empty apartments, and there is a massive supply crisis. There's not enough supply and not enough apartments in the city to meet the demand. That's why prices are going through the roof. The problem, however, is that prices can't actually adjust to the demand because of rent control. So the rent control restrictions are preventing a large number of the houses or the housing units in New York City from actually adjusting to this reality, which causes them to sit unrented because the landlord would rather have zero revenue than negative revenue. If they rent out that apartment, they can't do it without a major rehab to that apartment to fix it up and to get it into livable, occupiable condition. But they then can't turn around and rent it at a rate that would pay them for the investment they put into that property. Therefore, a landlord makes the only wise choice they can. I'd rather no income than a loss. Thank you, communism. That's a great solution. Let's fix the housing units by not having people invest in it. So what's the solution going to be? Well, it's going to be, let's take all of those housing units away from those landlords so that we, the people, can invest your money into those units and turn around and sell them or rent them for bargain basement prices and lose even more money in the process. I am not anti-communism because I'm a capitalist. And yes, I am a very happy and proud capitalist because I believe that's what God teaches in Christianity, in the Word, that the world works best when we use incentives, when we use freedom and freedom of action to allow people to make their choices. I am not anti-communist because I'm a capitalist. I'm anti-communist because I'm a Christian. You see, communism has a flawed view of man. All of mankind is good and virtuous. And then we add that on top of that, a flawed view of the world, that work is a bad, work is an evil, that profit is evil, that making money and income is evil. It should be shared with the rest of the people. The problem is when you make profit evil and you make profit illegal, then no one makes profit and there's not anything to share with the collective. Mandami said in his inauguration speech, "Welcome to the warmth of collectivism." What warmth? If you truly apply collectivism and all of its flawed thoughts to the nation or to the city, there will be no profit from which anyone can be warmed. If you want a truly good, just, righteous, and virtuous society, remove the shackles from the people. Let business operate. Let profit happen. Let people be served. I am so fed up with all of the socialist rhetoric about how evil it is to have, unfettered rent, to have business owners be vilified for doing what's right in the business marketplace and for the clients and their customers. Business is a good. Businesses are phenomenal. Businesses make America great. They create American prosperity, not just for a few, but for everyone. If you look at the standard of living in America compared to any communist utopia, you will see the standard of living for the poorest of the Americans better than the median of the communist utopia. I'm sorry, capitalism works. Don't dismantle it because it is based on true understanding of the reality that mankind is made in the image of God, but mankind is fallen. We are in rebellion against God. We have sin in every aspect of our beings, and that sin has permeated the way we think about work and has permeated the way we interact with one another. We no longer submit ourselves to God. We no longer have right relationships with our brothers and sisters. We fight and have wars and murder because there is sin in our hearts. But I've got good news for you. The answer is not collectivism. It's not the people. The answer is the one person, the perfect man, Jesus Christ, who came down to this earth, who lived the life that we could not live, who died the death that we deserved, who was raised again, and who ascended to heaven and sits at the right hand of God, ruling and reigning this world. We submit to him. We trust in him. We love him because he is good. He is worthy of praise. And through Jesus Christ, all of the stuff that I'm talking about right now, all of it can be resolved. We have to keep on turning back to Christ. So I'm not here promoting capitalism. I'm here promoting Christ. I'm here promoting Christianity and the right thinking about Christian thought and ideology, because these ideas have consequence and influence. And if you want a just and virtuous society, you cannot have it apart from Christ. You cannot have it by just embracing the fundamental goodness of man. You can't do the Disney, just follow your heart. It leads you into hell. Follow Christ. Don't lead yourself, your family, down this idea that everyone else needs to provide for me. Everyone else is the problem. I need to be paid by everyone else for me to live. No, you have responsibility. You have agency. God has given you a unique role. You are made in the image of God to be a creative person, to engage in the creative process, to serve humanity. And through serving humanity, you have your needs met, and you have more than enough to help also meet the needs of others. That's not communism. That's Christianity. That's not forced distribution of wealth. That's generosity at work. There's a reason America is the most generous nation in the world, because we are a prosperous people, because we are a Christian nation, because we love serving and helping and blessing others. Don't put a gun to my head and say, let me tax you so that I can redistribute that wealth. I think Tim Walz already tried that, and we're seeing in Minnesota that the ideas are not working. Corruption and fraud are rampant. So my brothers and sisters, you're hearing me here. I'm a little worked up. Yeah, sure I am. Communism is not just the thing we fought during the Cold War. Communism is an idea that will bear very dangerous fruit for America. We need to be very, very confident in the ideas of capitalism, not based in capitalism or for the benefit of capitalism alone, but frankly, because of Christ, because of the gospel, because the Bible is the infallible, unchanging word of God that we can build our life upon. And the economic system that best reflects the truths of the Bible is not communism. It's Christianity. It's capitalism. So do not yield any ground to the Mondamis of the world. Keep standing for truth. Keep pressing back against the crowd that says collectivism is the way to go, that increasing taxes, increasing regulations, increasing bureaucracy is what we need. We need less bureaucracy. We need less government. We need more freedom for the nation to rise up and to do what God is calling us to do. Over the course of this year, I'll probably take several of these episodes and we'll do a deeper dive into certain components of the idea. One of the ones that's top of mind for me is a deeper dive into rent control, so that we can think about how rent control actually comes to bear in the marketplace, and how that idea in and of itself is a hateful idea when it comes to the poor and actually having affordable housing. I think it'll be an interesting discussion. I wish you a very, very happy new year. In spite of the fact that I'm worked up in this episode, I am excited for 2026. I'm excited for what God's going to do, because God is still ruling and reigning, and he has a good plan for you, for this world, for your family. Let's rejoice together and follow him this year, and may he be the Lord of your life in 2026. God bless. Be safe in the markets.
The topics discussed in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific investment advice or recommendations. Investing and investment strategies involve risk, including the potential loss of principal. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. All information herein is from sources believed reliable, but is not guaranteed for accuracy or completeness. The team assumes no liability for any errors, omissions, or actions taken based on this material. Information is as of the date stated and subject to change without notice. Securities and advisory services offered through Genius Wealth Management, member FINRA and SIPC.